Bonjour mes amis, je m'appelle Lon DuQuette. Je suis le chevalier chocolat. Excuse me while I cough off screen. Oh, I'm in French. Welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. I took 4 years of French, and that's pretty much all I can do, and I don't do that very well. Anyway, it's not so much the French theme today as this is the way I sort of dressed to go to the coffee shop this morning because it's turned chilly. And I'm not trying to look sexy, although it's hard not to. I just literally threw this on, put my vest on, and just went. Anyway, it's Memorial Day weekend, and well, it's a 3-day weekend, and I wrote a sort of an appropriate for Memorial Day because it deals with dead soldiers, generations and generations and centuries and millennia of dead soldiers. But anyway, I wanted to write a song. I was born in 1948, and 1948, especially in Long Beach, California, which was such a war industry and military centered community throughout the World War II period. And so it seemed, as I growing up the first couple of years, it seemed like everybody's consciousness was still that the war is still going on. There were army surplus stores all over the place. Many men were still in uniform, walking just down the street. The early television shows we were watching was like The Big Picture, which were army propaganda films from the late 40s and early 50s. And but there was a song, and Liberace used it as his theme song, and it's called "I'll Be Seeing You," and it's a very beautiful song, and it's a song that could almost be sung by a ghost or a soon-to-be ghost. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places. Okay, and I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Okay. It's a great song. It's a standard, and it captures something more than just political good guy, bad guy, I'm going off to die. So I wrote a song called Cold Lips of Paper, and it's on YouTube in a couple places, and my good friend and musical colleague, James Stone, and I, when I was staying a few days in Connecticut, he and I recorded Cold Lips of Paper, and he did his magic work on it, and called himself. He was a one-man band behind me. I just played my guitar and sang the thing, and he put a backup singers and a full orchestra kind of thing. And I will share it. I'll share it with you because I usually do it on Memorial Day, because it includes pictures of mostly 20th century soldiers writing home, and the people back home reading the letters. It's to me it is even as a sort of a nonviolent anti-war guy, uh, sort of captures a bigger picture of that whole thing. And so I'm going to put that up this weekend. I hope you have a chance to listen to it. Today, however, for Saturday morning cartoons, we're going to have audio visuals. There's an Ankh. Okay. Ooh. Now, Ankhs don't seem very occult and sexy to us here in 2024. But in 1966, people were just, in the popular culture in the United States, they were just starting to wear this and getting tattoos of the Ankh. And when I joined the Rosicrucian Order Amorc in the early 1970s, they didn't even call it the Ankh. They called it the Crux Ansata, and which is probably the nice technical word, because no one knows how to pronounce Egyptian. But anyway, if you are a collector of occult books, or even a reader of occult books in the 20th century, in the 21st century, you are aware of the good people at Wiser Books. Now, when they first started publishing my books, it was called Samuel Weiser. And then it just was shortened to Weiser, and then Wiser Books. And now it's included in the imprints of Red Wheel Weiser and Canary Press and that sort of, but it's still, in my opinion, one of the best publishing houses of esoteric literature on earth, and it has been for a better part of a century. I think we celebrated the 60th anniversary a while back. Anyway, as part of their marketing, things that they market or did for a while, I think this is still in print and everything else. Here is the Ankh, the Key of Life, and it's a book that the editor or the editors of Weiser threw together in sort of an anonymous, group publication, and they marketed that little book with this thing, with a beautiful, really cool little Ankh there. And they asked me to write the introduction to it, okay, because that's what I do. And here's the book itself, and looks just like that thing, okay, and it's got like papyrus. And this book is sold as part of the package only. Well, it's so inexpensive, okay, and it still is, that don't worry about that, because it's as inexpensive as an inexpensive book. But I thought I would, and it's fully illustrated with all sorts of fun stuff. Okay. Now, it's not the deepest occult book in the universe. Okay, I'll just say right offhand. There's what interested me, hippie culture. Okay, that's not me. I don't know who that is. Okay. And all sorts of, I mean, it's worth having. It really is. It's a nice Nice little book. And here's the few words I penned. Okay, and as long as I got my beret on, you got a good shot of my beret? Want to touch my beret? Here's my introduction for Saturday morning cartoons. Okay. The Ankh is one of the most recognized spiritual symbols in the world. Revered quietly by 19th century esotericists, it burst with psychedelic panache. That's something you can say in a beret. Psychedelic panache. I'll do it again. It burst with psychedelic panache upon the expanding consciousness of the 20th century in the 1960s. Dangling from the necks of hippies or splashed colorfully upon the sides of misshapen VW microvans, which is what I still drive. This ancient and sacred symbol came to represent the consciousness of Western civilization, all things spiritually free and life-affirming. I recall stepping into the LA Free Press bookstore in Los Angeles in the summer of 1966. Now I'm going to digress for a second, because the LA Free Press bookstore in Los Angeles in 1966 was the center of the universe. Centers of the universe shift a lot, but for a golden year or so, that was the center of the universe. It was the center of the 60s. It was the center of the expanding consciousness explosion, politically, spiritually, socially. The LA Free Press bookstore. And I remember stepping into the LA Free Press bookstore in Los Angeles in the summer of 1966 and seeing this strange cross-like symbol hanging next to peace sign medallions and Sanskrit ohms. Okay, and Weiser was kind enough to put there's the Sanskrit ohm and the peace sign. Now, I have to tell you, when I walked in there, I was fresh. I mean, days fresh from 10 years in Nebraska. I was pretty green, okay? I was a radical guy, okay? I'm not saying I wasn't a radical guy. And pretty hip for Nebraska. But I was a greenhorn. I was a rube walking into the Free Press bookstore. Okay. I'm sorry, I digress. I asked the long-haired cashier in the blue work shirt, "What is this cross? Is it the sign of Venus?" He snapped back at me, "No, man. It's an Ankh. It stands for free love, man." I bought one on the spot. I'm curious where I lost it. Maybe I shouldn't be so curious where I lost it. Anyway, I would soon learn that the Ankh meant more than free love. Indeed, the subculture of the 1960s, this looped cross symbolized the universal forces of goodness and justice, the righteous enemy of institutions and endeavors that bring death and destruction to humanity and our world. Like tie-dyed Van Helsings, we brandish the Ankh before us to repel the Dracula of the evil war establishment of that turbulent era. It's time for us to get it out again. If any symbol on earth could hold such power, it is certainly the Ankh. Its antiquity cannot be measured, and no one today can say with certainty what its ultimate origin is. There is little doubt that it is the instrument by which the ancient Egyptians measured the rise and fall of the Nile. Vital data for a culture that depended upon the seasonal flow of the river. That instrument was shaped like an Ankh. As important as the practical function was, however, the Ankh became profoundly more important as a religious symbol. In Egyptian art, the Ankh is pictured in the hands of the gods. And just in case people got tired of reading words, now I would say Isis, but that's not Isis's headdress, okay? But that is, well, what's the caption say? As Isis leads Nefertari to the realm of the dead, she places at Nefertari's mouth and nostrils the Ankh, so that she will inhale the breath of life and spirit. Okay, and over here we've got others. Let's see, where is it? Okay, that's another kind of Ankh. That's a cistern, okay? Not a cistern. A cistern. It's a rattle. It's a combination tambourine rattle kind of. It goes. Okay. If you've ever gone to a Shinto ceremony, the priest has, it looks like a wand, a stick, and at the end of the stick is just hundreds of paper strips. And as he shakes it, you feel the perfumed or the incensed air blowing over you in a nice cool wind, just like the breath of the gods or whatever God you're dealing with at that particular, and it makes this wonderful that's sort of like a Japanese cistern. Okay, where was I before I digressed into? Okay. Okay, breath of life. Okay, I'll back up a little. In Egyptian art, the Ankh is pictured in the hands of the gods and held to the pharaoh's lips as if it were the breath of life itself. Its form, a not so subtle conjunction of the female and male generative organs, evokes the eternal powers of self-generation. With its oval head, outstretched arms, and slender stalk, it mirrors the human form. Indeed, ornate Ankh-shaped hand mirrors have been found in tombs of ancient Egyptians, as if to affirm the great truth that the secret of life can only be discovered through self-reflection. The Egyptian word for mirror is Ankh. Or so I was led to understand at the time. Some believe the Ankh was the rod of Moses or Aaron, the staff of Hermes, and the archetype of the caduceus. It might surprise you to learn that the Ankh is still sacred to Coptic Christians in Egypt, and that the crux ansata, cross with a handle, is the source and inspiration of that most Western of mystical symbols, the rosy cross. It should surprise none of us, therefore, that the symbol of the Ankh is not limited to any one religion, or that it cannot be properly defined. Indeed, once a symbol is defined, it ceases to be a symbol and becomes an emblem that crystallizes a narrow idea into dead form. A symbol is alive and ever-changing. It must remain an eternal mystery. That holds true in even the most white bread innocuous organizations, the logo. Okay, although the logo can stand for stuff and it tries to be a symbol, it's more or less an emblem. But in groups like Masonry, with the square and compasses and the plumb line and the level and those mystic symbols. And if a newcomer, a neophyte would ask, what does that symbol mean? Oh, you'll probably get an answer here or there. But it's never truly defined. The G in the Masonic square and compass. Well, it's a G, and G is the first letter of the word God, and God is an English letter based on a German letter, and that G, that could be God. Okay. Sure, yeah, it stands for God. But so does the menu at McDonald's, okay? A symbol remains a mystery, and that's where its power lies. That's where the infinite potential power of a symbol lies, in its inability to be completely defined. But I digress. It is this consensus among many modern esotericists that the Ankh was designed to be recognized by the ancient eye as a simple sandal strap, sort of like a flip-flop. This is my favorite theory, for it suggests to me the secret that life is a journey each of us must make, one step at a time. It's simply a matter of going, a process of voluntary movement, a willed commitment to move on, move up, and become something greater than we are now. What a fitting symbol for the world's most respected and venerable publisher of esoteric literature. And that's my brief, very generic white bread introduction to a novelty product artfully created and marketed by the good folks at Wiser Books. And I think I just looked at Amazon the other day, and it's still there it couldn't hurt. As a matter of fact, it might be a wonderful gift to some of your less esoterically inclined friends who may be freaked out as occult symbols and stuff. Anyway, that's it for Saturday morning cartoons. We have friends coming down from up north to pay us a little visit this morning, and I probably have to get out of my French outfit and into something more more respectable. So until tomorrow for Sunday school, a bientôt. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under love under will. L'amour, l'amour, l'amour toujours. Avec l'éléphante.